it.
So now it's recorded, and please go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. So again, welcome. We're super happy to be here today with you. We will present ourselves, of course, what we have done or what we are doing at Volvo Group. We will also present why we are working here, why we took part of the trainee program, and then also what is this? What are we doing actually in Volvo Group? If you have any questions during the presentation, you can write the questions on the chat, and then we will take it during the Q&A after the presentation. Or then you can also, if you have questions during the Q&A session, you can unmute yourself and ask us then. So let's start.
Yes.
Okay, when you hear Volvo, probably some of you were thinking about, yeah, we know Volvo and cars. So probably you are producing cars in your company. But no, we are actually not doing that in Volvo Group. I will come back soon, okay, how we affect in your daily or our daily life every day. So who are we? We are Volvo Group, and we have 100,000 colleagues around the world, and which are presenting 140 nationalities. And we have pretty strong brand portfolio, including 12 different brands. For example, Renault trucks, Mack trucks, Prevost, and Nova buses, just an example. And we have production facilities in 18 countries. And one fun fact also that actually we are 251st largest company in the whole world. So it's quite large company also. So where are we then? We are actually on the road, at sea, at the city, and off-road. And what does this mean? That we really affect our daily life, that we get our food on the stores, which are coming with the different trucks produced by Volvo Group, but also that you can every day travel to university at Chalmers by taking the bus. But also at sea, as we are living in the West Coast, you know, the boats during the summertime that you probably take during the summertime, we have the Volvo Penta and the Volvo engines in most of the boats. And of course, off-road, we contribute to the extraction of some of the world's most important raw materials.
Yes, so as you might understand, we're a part of society in some part, everywhere more or less. And with that, Volvo Group's mission is to drive prosperity through transport solution and infrastructure solutions. So this is like Volvo Group's motto, that we shape the world that we want to live in. And by doing that, we can bring prosperity by being a sustainable company, by producing and bring innovation to the society that will improve the life for coming generations. So that's a really nice mission, according to me. Then also one of Volvo's other core values is built by people, which tells a clear picture that the people is the main drivers at the company. And we are the ones who can really make the change. And therefore we are essential for coming generations and to be able to shape the world. So moving on to who we are. My name is Henrik Norbeck. I studied electrical engineering at Chalmers, Johanneberg. Then I applied to Chalmers Formula student, did a year there. It was really fun. And then I actually met a really lovely representative from Volvo at Traineedagen in 2018, where I applied to a position as a diagnostic engineer and test developer. And that position was a part of the operations graduate program. So the trainee program basically at Volvo Group 2018 and 2019. Yeah.
Yes, and my name is Elina Karel then. I have my background from the University of Helsinki. So I'm coming from Finland. I studied behavioral sciences in Helsinki, and then I moved to Sweden and I started to study at University of Gothenburg and did my master's of human resources and labor relations. And I started my graduate program year after Hendrik, 2019 to 2020. And we will, of course, tell a little bit more about the years that we have experienced, or how we experienced the whole graduate program year. And then today I'm working as a workforce planning specialist at Volvo Group. Henrik was also asking earlier, okay, what does it mean? What are you working with? I work a lot, for example, within people analytics.
Okay, moving over to the graduate programs then.
Yes, as you see in this picture, we have four different tracks for graduate programs. And this means that we have business, engineering, IT, and operations. Now you see that we have circled the operations, and this means that this year we will start with the operations graduate program. We don't know yet when we start with the business, engineering, and IT, but they are still part of the graduate programs, and that's why we wanted to lift them here, that probably in the future they will also have programs coming up. But now we have this wonderful opportunity for two operations graduate programs starting in 2021.
22.
22.
Okay, so what is special about the Volvo Group graduate program then? What's different with our program in comparison to maybe a normal trainee program is that you don't really apply to the program. You apply for a permanent position. So you apply for a position that you would like to work with and work in the future. And then at least 12 of those positions this year will be a part of the program here in Sweden. So the program overall, it's 15 months long. It's divided into common weeks, and you do job rotation. And you also, as I mentioned, 12 positions in Sweden. We also have some positions in America, Australia, Brazil, Belgium, and so on. So it's all the graduates together is a part of the global team that Volvo represents, since we are present all around the world. So just want to show you the timeline here of the program, and I will try to connect it with how my graduate program looks or looked. So you start with the program in January this year. That is already that's already finalized, all the candidates and such, all the recruitment. But the next program will begin in August, and it will look the same, more or less, different months. So you start off with a common week where all the graduates meet, all the 25 graduates from around the world meet, and you get to know each other because you are going to spend a lot of time during the next 15 months together. And what we do during these common weeks, you can see there's one in January and one in April, and spread throughout evenly these 15 months. And what you do during those common weeks aren't really connected to the normal work, so to say. Instead, you do personal development, leadership seminars, and you get to travel to different places within Volvo Group throughout the world and see things that you more or less won't be able to see otherwise. So meet different departments and other business areas and maybe factories on the other side of the world. So that's really fun, those common weeks. And then when you're not on these common weeks, so in between them, you do job rotations. And since you apply for a position and not the whole program, everything is tailored for you, or you decide yourself more or less with your manager for the department you work with and for the position you're going to have after the program. You decide yourself what will be most beneficial for you to see. So as I mentioned before, I work as a diagnostic engineer and test developer. Really unclear what that is for many of you and for me as well. But what I did then, my customers, so to speak, what I produce and deliver, we deliver to the factories. So after the first common week, I went to the factory here in Gothenburg, spent a month to see how they interact with my department on the other side on a daily basis. So then you get to see the other side of what you're going to do in the future, basically. So you get a wider picture of how your work will affect other people around you. And then in April there, we did a common week in Belgium. And during the common week, it was really fun. We went and met the, what's it called? The Svensk Näringsliv. It's the Confederation of Swedish Enterprise, where we got to see how Volvo affects the European Union and all the countries around us and the Swedish enterprises. We also met some representatives from the European Parliament, and they also told us about how the European parliaments interact with Volvo Group. And then we did some more personal development and leadership seminars in Belgium. And then I stayed in Belgium for 6 weeks and did my second job rotation. And that went on the whole 15 months. So common week and then job rotation and then just repeat. But as you can see, there is more than one, almost 3 months in between the common weeks. So when you're not on the common week or your job rotation, you stay at your home department and start to get acquaintance with your normal colleagues that you're going to have in the future. You start to learn the job that you're going to do after the program. So you get a very wide picture of your future job, everything that's connected to your future job, and some other things about Volvo Group. So it's a really nice way to, how do you say, like streamline the beginning of your career after the program. So just show some pictures from my program. You can see at the top left, we met Martin Lundstedt, the CEO, had a dinner with him and got to hear his experience at the company. We went to Umeå and saw the factory up there. Then we went down to the European Parliament, visited a factory in the US where we got to see all the new technology initiatives that are everywhere in the company. And then the last picture down to the left is our first week together. So this is the second day of the whole group meeting, and we had our first personal development session, which was really fun.
So nice to actually come back to these pictures and go through the whole program year again. If I share my experience, then it's basically the same and the same timeline as Henrik had. But you probably can also understand, since I started in August 2019, and then we ended the program in November 2020. So we had also the COVID there between, or we have still. But I would tell my experiences of that a little bit also, because of course we couldn't travel in the same way and meet within all the graduates. But if I back a little bit and go back to how it started. So I really, as we say, you apply for the position. So after, when I was writing my thesis, at the same time I was applying for jobs. And then I found this super interesting position at Volvo Group. And of course, I already had my eye on Volvo before that. And then it sounded like perfect position. I really wanted to have that position, but it was only super plus that this position was also part of graduate program. So I wanted to have that extra or a lot. So when I started at Volvo Group, of course, we had the common weeks, and we started to meet with the group. And as Henrik said, you will get super close with this group. We were graduates from Australia, Brazil, Belgium, US, and Sweden. And we were 23 who started, and it was I feel that those are mainly my friends and colleagues today, so you will get really close with them. And we also worked with these two persons who really challenge us and with personal and also team development. It was I remember also that people were maybe in the beginning like, okay, what is this? Why we are doing this? But now, or after 1 year also, you really understand and have the advantage of this, that you have done these exercises, because people who started maybe in manager positions or starting now in manager positions, they can utilize a lot of things that we learn from these group dynamic exercises, etc., and about yourself also a lot. Then we were also together in Tuve plant, and then I was 5 weeks in Ghent before COVID, and I had my job rotation there, and we had also common week. So usually we did also that we have the job rotations, maybe in the same country where you will have the common week. So you can have longer time in that specific country, and to get known also to the factory. And then we have also picture here in the middle on the second row, where we eat lunch or dinner together with the previous graduates. So it's not only about your graduates that you start with, but you will be included to the whole graduate group in Volvo, and we are quite many actually.
Oh, yeah.
And you get always support, and you get different knowledge or learn from each other, so that's quite cool also. But yeah, we did I had job rotations in Ghent. I was also in Umeå, where we produced the cabs to the trucks, and then it was quite cool to be there, as they have so many robots also in this factory, and it's a bit different from Tuve. And then I was also in Ghent, and I saw that both in factory and also where we produce the trucks, but also the distribution center, which is the logistics part. So this graduate program really gives you a helicopter view of the company, and as me working in global HR position, it helps me to bridge the gaps, because I'm working here in Sweden in headquarters, and now I have been really there where it happens, to have the understanding and not only sitting here. So I really feel the advantage of that also. And then of course, because we couldn't travel and during the common weeks, how we did then when COVID came, actually we did it really, really well, in my personal opinion. And we had all the common weeks and the activities within the graduate group virtually. But of course, when the whole world is functioning in the same way, and we are meeting each other through Teams or Zoom or whatever, we actually get also more creative how to do different things, and we really succeeded, and I felt that I felt connected with my colleagues still, even if it was virtually. And then also one really positive thing is that, because I had one job rotation plan to be in US, for example, so I, together with my manager, decided that when the COVID situation is better again, I will have the opportunity to do my job rotation later, even if I didn't or had the opportunity during the program. So I will have it in the future. So that's also really nice thing, and that the company is also flexible in that.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Why should you join us? I mean, maybe it's a bit biased, but and I hope you do as well, really think that Volvo Group is an amazing company and a really good employer to work for. So we picked 3 topics just to shortly go through why we think this is a really good employer and a good place to work at. So yeah, first, inspiring purpose.
Yes, super shortly. Coming back to the first, that we want to leave the society to future generations, and also we will shape the future we want to live in. And this is an industry where it's happening a lot, and it's pretty cool stuff also happening. And I remember that I felt that maybe this is part of a big problem, but this is also a solution for a big problem, and that makes it really cool. So by joining us and a global leading industry player, you would really have the opportunity to make a real change. So that's quite cool.
Oh, yes. Next one, innovation. I mean, if we want to change the world, we need to lead by example. And we're doing this by staying on top of the latest technologies. So we have, for example, a lot of work ongoing now about automation, electrification, and connectivity. And this is, of course, really central in Volvo Group right now. I mean, we offer a complete range of all our everything that we offer: trucks, buses, construction equipment, and soon also the Penta, what do you say, the boat engines as electrical motors and electrical machines. So that's really, it's really fun to be able to work with these the new technologies, because it's an everyday challenge. And with this, we can help to build a more sustainable future for coming generations. So it's nice to be in the driver's seat for the company and for the future.
Yeah, and last but not least, the growth opportunities. We really were discussing about these 3 different takeaways, or why you should join us together with Henrik. And this is really the one that we want to take away, the last thing that we want you to think about. Because when you start at Volvo Group, you basically can build your whole career here. You have a lot of opportunities that you can choose from, and in different countries, in different position, but also coming back to that, that you are the driver, driver on the seat. And then we have endless opportunities in this company, and we have many examples only from the graduates who started in maybe within HR and today working as production leader, because that person was super interested about that and got the opportunity. Would you like to have anything to add on growth opportunities?
I mean, yeah, when I started at Volvo, I thought like, okay, maybe I can be here for a few years and then move on to something more, something different or more interesting, or whatever I feel is, more interesting at the time. But I mean, I see Volvo Group as a consultant firm almost, because if you want a new assignment, it's similar as if you work in a consultant firm. If you work as in HR, then you can apply for a position as a production leader. Or if you want to work in another country, then there's no problem. If you want to work in a short-term assignment in Australia for half a year, then the possibility is there. It's just a matter of finding the right people and showing your interest, basically. So if you want to, you can do whatever you want to within Volvo, because all the positions are here. So it's really fun to be able to build your career and actually gain from it, even though you move from one position to maybe another company within Volvo. You will still build your portfolio or your career within the same company, and that shows. It will give you more experience in your backpack for the future, I think. That's really fun.
And graduate program is a really good start for that, because you will also create and build the network from day one. Yeah,
definitely. Okay, that's all we had about the graduate program here. Let's see. I can see that we have some questions in the chat here.
Yes, thank you so much for a really great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also good slides and cool pictures and a nice talk. Yes, we have some questions, and also for the participants in this room, feel free to unmute yourself and ask some questions directly to Henrik and Elina. But we will start with the questions here in the chat. I guess you can see them too, Elina, right?
Yes, let's start.
So for example, is it possible to apply if you have some type of nanotechnology background, and what type of position will that be? Maybe that's more of the engineering track.
Yeah, I would say so as well. We have a lot of technology positions as well at the graduate program for operations. I mean, those are mainly, we have some positions we had last time, I know, virtual reality, and be able to work with augmented reality for the factories and those type of technologies. I'm working with battery technologies and how to build batteries right now on the electric trucks and all the technology that goes into that when it comes to the factories. But the deep down technology development is for the trainee program that's called then engineering. But I know that I don't know what positions we had now starting in January, but we have at least 4 positions so far for the program that starts in August. So I will try to find those quickly. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and for example, if people are wondering what type of trainee programs will be launched, they will find them on the Volvo Group webpage, I guess.
Yes,
Maybe we can share the QR code again.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that when we were here. Here. The code at the bottom there will bring you straight to the graduates page on Volvo Group Careers. So you can see that later in the presentation. I guess you will post this, or you can just take a picture of it right now.
And then maybe the second QR code, if you are, for example, for you, Nikhil, asking the question, maybe you can subscribe, or you can scan this QR code, and then you have your interest, because then you will get email when we are posting something that you have background to or interest to.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Then we have the let's see, next question.
For non-EU students, this position lead to work permit? Really good question. Actually, when you apply for the graduate program, you will get the permanent position from day one. So it's permanent contract.
But I don't think you have to use that permanent position to apply for the work permit. We won't do it. So I think it's you need to have a work permit, yes, but we won't provide it for you. But I don't think it will be a problem if you have a fixed position, which you will have from day one. So that's shouldn't be a problem. The application period for 2022 has, we got the question here from Linus. It has already ended, I guess, for the program that starts in January.
Yes.
But the second program that starts in August haven't really opened yet. So there's still time, because we haven't even started the application period. But I guess that would start sometime in May, maybe. And
no, actually, it will for August, if I remember from mine, it starts in the end of this year or in the beginning of next year, and then have the interview process during the spring, and then the final selection, and then April, May, and then you will start in August.
Yes, if I interpreted Dimitri correct, the one who is in charge of those trainee programs, there will be a new application period coming up quite soon.
Yeah,
roughly this winter, but also maybe in January or February.
Yeah,
and this will be a good solution for you that will be graduating this summer.
Exactly.
Great. Tina also has a question about the salary of the trainee position.
Yes. So the salary is the same for all trainees, just since you're a part of the program and you do a lot of non-work related stuff with all the trips and all the job rotation and such things. All the trainees get the same salary in the same country, at least. I mean, the guys in the US get more than the guys in Brazil and in Sweden, maybe. But everyone in Sweden, I know my year, it increases every year, but our year, everyone got 31,700 crowns for the first 15 months. But then after that, it's up to you basically to have the first salary negotiation, because that's really, after the program, is really when you get a part of the headcount of your real department. So then it's just as any first job interview as you will have at any other company. So you have to negotiate by yourself. But during the graduate program, it's the same for everyone. So around, I don't know if they increased per year, but around 32,000 maybe.
Yeah, it's of course it's natural that they increase every year.
Yeah.
But then of course we get the same salary even if you're working in the US. Now it's slower or it's higher depending on the country, but you know, in different countries the expenses are also different. So in that level, it's the same for everyone.
Yeah.
Yes. Great. So we continue to the next question from Kuval. So the next IT graduate program, when will it open? Do you have any clue?
It's the same story with the engineering and the business program. We don't have any information about that yet at all.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will start this August. We don't have any information about it otherwise or anyway. So, I mean, it's probably if they launch on now, we don't know, but hopefully as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But not the coming period.
Yeah. Operations graduate program will be the first starting now, but we don't know what's the status for the rest of them. But keep an eye on the webpage, volvogroup.com. I saw also, can first year master student apply for graduate trainee? I would say yes, but you had the...
Yeah, the short answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but a lot of, not a lot, but some positions actually only requires bachelor degrees. But then some do actually require to have a master's degree. Mine did, but I wasn't really finished. So I had my master thesis and some re-exams left, but I got admitted anyway. So I mean, it's from case to case. So it's not that hard. The limit isn't that hard, written in stone. But yeah, so it's up to the experiences and the hiring manager to decide.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to do my master's or complete my master's, so I applied after the master's. And also I know that in my application it's standard also that you need to have master's degree.
Yes, I can add that it's a lot of people applying for Volvo Group's trainee position, so it's very beneficial to be done with the university. But as you say, there are some special situations. So of course, if you are really interested and still in year one of the masters, you can apply, but probably the year two of the master program will get those positions.
Yeah, and that's really valid point, Oscar, that when we compare graduates, so of course, if someone has masters and someone not, maybe the master student will be more qualified than the other one. So
yes. We also have a question from Rayan regarding resident, and I'm not fully sure what the question is, but I guess
which question?
So it was sent 11 o'clock.
1100. Yeah, I guess it's the same, similar to a work visa then. As we said before, I mean, if you have a fixed position at any company, basically, it shouldn't be a problem to apply for a residence permit or a work permit. So if you get applied or get admitted to the program, then of course it shouldn't be a problem to apply for it, but we won't provide it.
Exactly, Volvo Group will not helping out fixing the apartment itself.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
And then when the program starts, as we said, the first program now launches in January, and the program is 15 months long. But then we have a second one, since we didn't have any program 2020. We have more or less the 2020 program starting this or January 2022, and then we have the real 22 program starting in August. So it's two programs and both are 15 months long.
But actually that's just positive. Or if I'm thinking, then I would have double of my graduate colleagues starting this year, and that's fun.
Yeah, really fun. Then
Great. Yes, next question is from Emma, sent 1104.
Yeah.
Example of job rotations, work assignments, etc. Within the program. I guess it's a bit related to maybe travels.
Yeah, I mean, the work assignments and the job rotations is really dependent on what position you have. So I mean, my position working with software and hardware solutions for the factories, I did one job rotation here in Gothenburg in the factory here. I did 1 month in the Belgian factory and then 1 month in the American factory and then 3 weeks in the Brazilian factory. Just to meet all the people that I have daily interaction with now. But then I also did 1 month with the technology departments that actually do the product development to see how they develop stuff and what they have, what type of interactions they have with us, since we are their customers, so to say. So I mean, I got to see the whole chain from supplier to finished truck, basically, and in the chain where I fit in. So it depends on what rotation or what position you have. So it's up to you, the manager, to decide.
I guess if people want some type of idea where you can travel within Volvo Group, just Google where the different sites, offices and factories are located within Volvo Group, and then you get some type of sense, I guess.
Yeah, we have factories in all continents in the entire world. I mean, so yeah, everywhere. Africa, North and South America, Asia, Russia, Europe, you know, you name it. There's something everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, Australia, yeah.
Cool. So one more question about finishing school before. I think we touched this question, but yes, it would be beneficial to finish university before entering. And I see here the master thesis in September. I guess you will overlap some part of the master thesis with the trainee position. That would maybe work. I mean, that's also up to the manager, I guess.
Of course. But I mean, I think it will be hard since there's so many travels and job rotations. And when you do the job rotations, you're, I mean, when I was in the US, I worked to normal 5, you know, in the factory.
Yes, this is a full-time employment, I think. Yes.
Exactly. But then what exactly you do, that's, as I said before, depending on your position, but it's full-time, of course.
Yeah. It can really depend, as you say. We had different assignments within our group, and also some of them were also did some shadowing or on the job learnings together with someone else from some other country in the same position, maybe. So you can really learn how they are working with the same thing in other country, for example, and learnings to your own department.
Yes. Great. So Linus has a question, civil engineering and focus on environmental engineering. Would that fall under, for example, the production track, I guess?
Both. I mean, it could be both. I had a colleague in my graduate year, and she studied environmental science or environmental engineering. And she works in the Skövde factory where we the motors or the engines for the trucks. And she has a lot to do since casting iron isn't a very clean process. So I mean, she works in production, but you can also work with emissions or something at technology and business to take business decisions on how we should work forward with environmental questions and sustainability. So I mean, environmental engineering is something that I think really goes through all our businesses everywhere.
Yes, but this is also civil engineering, so like building bridges and houses, infrastructure too. But I will say yes, that's also part of operations program. So
And I mean, as we said before, the growth opportunities. I mean, there's people working with HR that are production engineers and vice versa. So I mean, it's the right person for the right job, but that doesn't mean that you need to have the exact correct education. So it's really focused on the humans at Volvo. It doesn't matter what you studied. It's more what you can bring to a team and bring with your personal experiences and such.
Good answer. Great. So the last question, probably if people have more questions, put them in the chat or unmute yourself. So maybe you can say some extra words about the recruitment process and how you select and how you do it.
Yes. From my experience, the recruitment process, it was quite tough and it was quite long also. I had 4 interviews. So you start by sending CV and cover letter, and then they will check all who applied. And then the next step is that if you are qualified, then you will get invitation to video interview. And then you will get questions on screen, and then you have maybe, between 1 to 2 minutes to answer those questions. And this will be one time recording. So it was a bit, I was super afraid, and I felt actually really bad afterwards. But probably we all feel that, because it's a bit unnatural situation. So it went well, even if I felt that it was super, super bad, and I was almost crying. And then we got a 3rd mail that now you will have personal interview. And then I met a recruiter from the recruitment center. And then we will also do some tests, 4 different tests that took some time. It was personality test, then a logical thinking test, and then reading, understanding test, and math. And then after that, I met in the next round, then I met my manager, and she interviewed me. And then the last interview was with the teammates. And I actually liked those interviews a lot, and I had good feeling, because when I met the team, my colleagues today, it made me also feel that, okay, now I know, and I can ask, okay, how is the team? How are you working? And I have the opportunity to ask many questions from them also to understand if we're a good match. So yes, that's the recruitment process.
We just hired or are hiring for the program in January, or I think we just finalized, but it's more or less the same. So I think my manager, when the video interviews were done, he chose 10 people that he got 10 video interviews sent to him, and then he picked out 4, which we had a face-to-face meeting with. And then he will send 2 of those 4 to the HR tests and the recruitment interviews. So it's a long process, yes. But I think the hardest part is to pass the first screening. I think my year we had 2,400 applications.
It's a lot of applications.
So it's you need to be a bit lucky, I think.
And also write good CV and cover letter.
Of course.
Great answer. Yes.
I had a quick.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Sorry. I had a quick question. Thank you guys for this great presentation.
Okay.
Do you have any suggestions on how to draft your CV and curriculum vitae and curriculum cover letter somehow, so that it gets possible to get in?
Yes, I have been several times in different Traineedagen and these kind of student events, and my recommendation is really when you have this CV, not too long CV, but I guess we don't have a so long CV either, because you are still studying and you don't have so much work experience yet, so don't worry about that. But when you write the cover letter, it's really good to address why you want to work at Volvo, like the company, but also why this specific position, and also why graduate program. So if you can really elaborate those things, because usually in cover letter you basically write who are you, what are your interests, but really also remember to address like why Volvo, because that's also make the difference from the cover letters when you read them. And then one tip also, I remember that I applied through LinkedIn, and I saved the position or the description of the position, so I could come back for that, because you know when the recruitment process ends, then they take off away this
job description.
Job description. So I still have it today, and I could prepare for each interview also by reading again about the team and Volvo, and I also read a lot about the company, etc., and really ask questions during the interviews. That makes also feeling for the manager that okay, this person really wants to have it. Of course, it came naturally from me because I'm really curious person, but those was the feedback that I got from my manager when I asked, okay, why did you choose me then?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yes, and maybe the last question, a question about job experience and applying for trainee positions. What is your opinion about that? Maybe similar question as what we discussed, but
yeah, I mean, of course, job experience has it's a positive effect, of course, but I mean, it's not going to be the most important part, because you are students, and I mean it's not expected of you to have a long CV with a lot of job experience, because that's not really common. So I mean, that's, of course it's positive, but it's not mandatory at all. And then I just want to answer the second last question as well regarding this the link that you see on the screen and the QR code. I know Elina signed up for this just to test it out, and ended up in her junk mail. So check your junk mail inbox as well to see. But you will get an email where you can fill out what your curricular you have. So I mean, what you're studying and what you're interested in receiving information about, and then you will get some information when the applications open up. Yes. But the applications for the January program is already finalized. So I mean, that will be around maybe January, February, but it will be for the August program.
Great.
Yes. Any other questions from the audience? Or do you have questions, Henrik and Elina?
Okay.
Great. Then I will give you a huge applause. A wonderful presentation, also really good Q&A. I hope we solved some of the biggest questions, and otherwise you can reach out, I guess, to me and to Henrik and Elina.
Yeah, of course. Just find us somewhere and write to us. LinkedIn, yeah. Or send an email if you want to include my email when you send out this presentation or something. It's feel free. It's fine.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And if you feel that you didn't have the opportunity to ask some question, or you come up with some other question later on, we will have the one-to-one slots later on.
Yeah, for some of them.
Yeah, for some of you, and then you will have the opportunity to ask the question again. So thanks for the great questions today.
Yes, thank you. Then I will end this presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Nice day. Bye-bye.